Good evening. Let us open in prayer. God, we ask that you would help us quieten our minds from the busyness of the day. Help us to open our ears and soften our hearts so that we will be receptive to hear the message that you have for each of us this evening. A while before Easter, Jesus was speaking to his disciples and explaining that he was going to be tried and tested and by the high priests and the elders, and that he would be found guilty and he would be killed. But that on the third day he would rise again alive. And Peter was not happy when he heard this, and he just said, "No, Lord, no, this will never happen to you." And Jesus confronted Peter and he said, "Peter, just get away from me. Satan, get lost. You don't have God's concerns on your mind, you have human concerns on your mind." And then a short while later, we read that Jesus invited the crowds and the disciples together. He gathered them together and he said, "If any one of you want to be my disciple, you need to deny yourselves, pick up your cross, and follow me." And I'm sure we've all heard that before, maybe a few times, maybe often. And sometimes it's things like this sound simple, but they're not always that easy to understand or comprehend fully. Certainly not the first time we read them. So what did Jesus mean when he said, deny yourselves, pick up your cross and follow me? Well, the disciples believed that Jesus was their Messiah. And as their king, they expected him to save them from their oppressors. They wanted him to become king of the Jews. And then once he was king, they would be honored nobles with him. And so pride and a longing for personal recognition was what prompted these thoughts and these desires. And Jesus knew this, and he wanted to correct their thinking. I'm sure we all enjoy making decisions in our own lives. In actual fact, we almost encouraged to do that lately. We see so many slogans saying, "You only live once. It is your life. You choose what you want to do." But denying self means that we intentionally reject our natural feelings of running our own lives. Jesus was talking about who our primary allegiance is to. Is it to him? Is he first in our lives? Or is it to ourselves? And then sometimes when we're in a bit of a corner, or we're really struggling, we call on him. So he's sort of our reserve bank. And in Jesus' time, to take up one's cross meant that the condemned person would carry his cross to the place of his execution. It showed that although he might have rebelled against the authority, he was now completely conquered. And his last act in life would be to carry this instrument of his destruction to the place of his death. But it also showed complete submission and vulnerability. And so if we are to carry our cross in order to follow Jesus, we too have to show complete submission and vulnerability to him. And this needs to become our lifestyle. Something we do when we wake up, and it's the last thing we do when we go to bed. So, am I ready and willing to put Jesus in the driving seat of our lives? Let us close in prayer. Dear God, although we don't always understand as we should, I want to thank you for Jesus' example that is applicable to us even today. Please nudge us, Lord, when we put our desires and our decisions ahead of yours. And please help us to always keep you in the driving seat of our lives. Amen.